So hello, everybody. Thank you for being here and for making it here. Consider the tube strike. So let's move on. So what we're talking about today. So we're talking about Map2Earn and what we call the gateway to the AR metaverse. So, but first of all, what's the AR metaverse? I mean, we have a kind of an idea of what's the metaverse. When we think about the metaverse, we think about, a virtual metaverse. But what we're thinking about here is a fusion between what is the physical and the virtual world through what we call geolocalized AR. So augmented reality experiences that are located in some specific locations. It's a place where you can own assets thanks to Web3, play, earn, and also meet other people. And finally, we see this as a new way to interact with information. So, and at the end of the day, why augmented reality? Because, when we think about the metaverse, usually we think about, a VR world. But our thesis is that actually we will not spend most of our time with some headsets on our face. And not only that, our brains, if you think about that, they are wired to process 3D data in the physical world. And finally, if you think also about the means to interact with AR, right now, everybody, the best means to interact with AR is mobile phones. And everybody has one in his pocket of these smartphones. So if we look at the numbers, we have 150 million VR headsets, but we have 6.6 billion smartphones. And so finally, another important thing is that smart glasses are coming. So there is a kind of consensus on the fact that the next year, actually, Apple will release the first version of smart glasses, and this will change everything. So I believe that in the next 5 years, it will be very odd to see people staring on mobile phones. Everybody will just use smart glasses. So coming back to how this augmented reality is made, what are the building blocks of this augmented reality? So the way we see it, the way you can build this is through three main layers. So we have a base layer that we call OVR lens. We have a middle layer that is the OVR mapping. And finally, we have a layer for building, for publishing content. So I will not go through all the three of that. I will focus on the first two, just to give an idea on why is the mapping system that we are talking about is important. So again, just to give you a reference, what is OVR lens? So here you have something maybe you are familiar with, that is the central lens. So this is the map of the central lens. That is a total virtual world. While on the left side, you have the map of over. So the lens of over are mapped one-to-one to the physical world. So in this example, you see this live hexagon. In that case, somebody also published content over there. But going on with the comparison, just to make a comparison with the VR metaverse, again, the central and over. And we have nothing against the central, of course. Actually, we are also collaborating with them. And today, if you want to test it, we have a cross-metaverse event with them. But anyway, this is an occlusive virtual environment, the one that we see in the central one. While in our case, in over, you see that we mix the physical world with 3D assets, like with this example with shoes. And then again, to just finalize the understanding on what is this virtual lens that we're talking about, you can also think about those as spatial domains. So in the web, you have web domain. You buy, for example, Coca-Cola.com, and you publish content on that web page. In our case, with OVR Land, you buy a spatial domain. So you buy geographic coordinates, you buy a specific location, and you publish content on that location. That's it for the base layer, this ownership layer. But then you might ask, OK, cool, nice idea of this augmented reality metaverse, but why don't we see augmented reality metaverses out there? Why the world is not augmented yet? Well, because there is a big barrier. And the barrier is a technological barrier. And its name is localization accuracy. So when you want to edit a physical world, you want to add some assets in a physical world, you need a system that understands where you are in space. So the easy way to do that is through GPS, but GPS has low precision. So outdoor, it's around 4 meters, and it could work for some use cases. For example, if you think about AR, the best use case of AR up to now is Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go made billions in money, but if you think about that, Pokemon Go didn't need it for precision, because you just collect these, objects wherever they are. You don't really need to be exactly in a location. But again, if your goal is to edit the physical world, you need another system that is more precise. So, and again, also, especially GPS, outdoor is quite okay, but indoor doesn't work at all. So we need a system to have precise localization for edit the physical world, and this system needs to be proprietary, so not owned by Google or other big corps. Why is that? Because there is two ways that you use that system if it is owned by Google or others. First, you pay, and in that case, you need to let the final clients to pay, or you don't pay, but they own the data. So you don't want either of these solutions. So because of that, what we built is this system that is called OVR land mapping, or Map2Earn, as we call it. And the way it works, basically from simple pictures, so a mobile phone with an RG camera can take pictures of a location, and with proprietary technology, we create three main objects. So one is the 3D point cloud of the location. Then we have a nerve simulation that I will show you later. And then finally, we have also this precise relocalization. So you will be able to locate assets in space very precisely. Again, I was mentioning this technology is enabled by normal smartphones, so you don't need to have a LiDAR cool smartphone or a laser scanner, just mobile phones. And finally, this kind of job is enabled by a crowd of workers, of people that's going around the world, and with their camera, they can take pictures and are incentivized by ERC20 tokens. So let's see an example. So this is the result of a mapping that I did 2 weeks ago in Laguna Beach. So now you will show the video. So this is a 3D map. It's a 3D structure of this location. So once you have this map, basically you are able to edit this location very precisely. You want to have something on that table, will be exactly on that table. But not only that, once you map the location, you can also generate what I called before NERF, that is neural radiance fields. So it's a simulation from a neural network of the location. In this case, it's one orbit that I can generate for that. So I can generate like a drone fly over there, even if I didn't have a drone. I just took some pictures. The job to realize this for me was 3 to 5 minutes scanning. And that is another nice visualization of a location. But what is even more interesting is that we can build digital twins of physical worlds. So once a location is mapped, I can actually travel inside this location. So this is an hallucination from a neural network walking inside this location. And we can think a future where we will be able to walk inside a location like this. So this is the same location that you saw before. And you see that I can definitely move around like I'm moving around in a VR experience. So with this feature, basically what we are bringing to the table is creating also digital twins of the physical world. So if you are in the location, you will have an AR experience. But if you are not in a location, you will still be able to see the location and navigate through it with the digital twin of the location. So if you think about this, this is a very big dream. So the idea is to create a Web3-based digital map of the world. And again, we are doing something what basically Google Maps is doing. Google Maps map the whole world, and it has 1 billion monthly active users. And you know, we are in Krypton, we are big dreamers and very crazy, but of course we don't think we can map the whole world. But how can we then execute this? Well, in the last 24 months, we sent people to 1.6 million locations with a game that is very similar to Pokemon Go. So people go around the world and collect 3D assets that give them NFTs and tokens. So these people do that because they want to earn something. So actually, we have 130,000 people around the world that play to this game. So we will tell them, look, there is another opportunity to earn in this metaverse. So instead of just collecting assets, you can go around the world taking pictures, generating these maps, and we will buy those from you. And finally, the point is that, as we know, the world is huge. So where we will send people to map locations? Well, in the last, since the launch, since December 2020, we sold over 860,000 digital lands. Here you see our presentation on the map. And if you think about this, this is a wisdom of the crowds on what are the important locations in the world. So basically, we will start incentivizing the hot zones. So we will start mapping the places that have more traffic, at least that people think have more traffic. And yeah, and the important thing, the big dream again, is that this system will be owned by its creators. So the stakeholders of this system, the people that will map the world, will own this map. So imagine you can own a piece of Google Maps because you work for that. So we are enabling this. So thanks to Web3 paradigm, so not only we can read and write, but we can also own stuff. And so every time somebody will take pictures of this location and this 3 to 5 minute job, he will actually generate a 3D map that he owns, and in the future will also generate revenues. Finally, so let's say, very nice story about where we are with the development of this right now. So the project was launched 20 months ago, as I was mentioning. So we start selling the lens. We sold 860,000 of those. We have an SDK, so it's a software to publish content. Already 16,000 of these lenses have been edited, so people put content over there. And the OVR lens scanning or mapping is just launching now. We are in alpha. We have 300 alpha testers right now, and by the 1st of December, we'll be out with a public beta, so everybody will be able to do that. And again, let's go to some traction, because I did a lot of theory, but I mean, we have a live startup, and we have generated a lot of good numbers already. So we have 940,000 users registered, 1.6 million locations visited, as I mentioned you, 600,000 downloads of the app, 860,000 lens sold, 35 employees, all proudly based in Italy, and 12 million generated in the last 18 months. And yeah, after all this theory, I will just also do what I should never do, so show you a video during a presentation, so you can have an idea on what is the product that we built so far. Later on, you will also see an example of the interface that you have when you map locations. It's going to come in a few seconds. So this is the lens where we divided the world. This is actually the interface. So you have this heat map. You generate a 3D point cloud and this is the simulation that I showed you before. And again, you can anchor content over there. We have photorealistic avatars. You can create live events. You can meet people. You can have telepresence. Digital clothes. We are selling digital clothes actually since the last week. And also interesting thing that these avatars are photorealistic. So the platform strives through photorealism. Of course, we can have also simpler things like low poly and so on. But I mean, we don't have a specific graphical mode. This is an example of the treasure hunt I was telling you about before. Oh, this is interesting also. This is assets from other metaverses. So this is assets from Sandbox or, yeah. And so you can actually bring it and move it from other metaverses. So this is the realization of this idea of cross-metaverse assets. Yeah. And finally, this is also virtual events. And as I was mentioning today, we will have a cross-metaverse event with the Centrals you can attend to. And that's it. Yeah. And if you want to test the mapping, just scan this QR code. You will be able to get into the alpha version of the system. Thank you very much for your attention.
Diageo, that was really cool. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm really interested in how augmented reality will play a massive part in music and sporting events. And I think it's very evident that it's not a case of if, it's a case of when. The engagement that I think we're going to see from music to fan to supporter for good behavior and attending these events. No. And also a way to market directly to the person as well for big corporates.
Again, yes, of course. I mean, what we really see is that the future, once smart glasses are out there, this will be just a no-brainer way to actually funnel information to people and showcase them things, having them experiences. And if you think about it, Apple has been working for years now, showcasing you the products in AR. Why is it doing that? Because the sense that you have of a product when you see it mixed with reality is much more powerful than seeing the product, for example, in a 2D screen. That is just incontestable. And the reason why is that because our brains, I mean, they grow understanding 3D information around them. So it's just a more natural way to consume information.
I'm familiar with the campaign that was done in Australia by Ben & Jerry's, where they dropped 100,000 NFTs, and you would go around and claim the NFT, and you would then bring it into a store. And when you went into the store, you then get a Ben & Jerry's ice cream. as long as you then tweeted about Ben & Jerry's. So it was a way to remunerate you for your attention.
Absolutely. This is, this is powered by Web3 and AR combination. So this is a fantastic example.
Yeah, fascinating. Thank you very much.